US-Pakistan relations are undergoing a dramatic shift in President Donald Trump's second term. It began after Operation Sindoor, the four-day India-Pakistan war that Trump has repeatedly claimed that he was the one who mediated. That's a claim that India has denied, but Pakistan has celebrated, even nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan praised Trump as a peacemaker, while the army chief, General Asim Munir, has courted Washington with strategic offers of rare earths and cryptocurrency. Will Trump's business style or transactional diplomacy finally forge a lasting partnership? Or is this yet another short-lived bromance? I dig a little deep. US-Pakistan relations are undergoing a significant shift in President Donald Trump's second term. It started back in the summer with Operation Sindoor, the four-day war between India and Pakistan, which Trump has claimed now more than 50 occasions that he helped mediate and stop. India has denied that claim, while Pakistan has wholeheartedly welcomed it. Pakistan has even nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Today, again, I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize, because I genuinely feel that he is the most genuine and most wonderful candidate for Peace Prize, because he has brought not only peace in South Asia, saved millions of people, their lives.
Pakistani officials have clearly appealed to Trump's ego and to Trump's sensibilities. They've offered him a broad range of offers, from access to rare earth minerals, investments in cryptocurrency, and most recently even offered to give him a port on the Arabian Sea. To the businessman that is Trump, this is like a loyal business wooing a client, and Trump loves to be wooed.
Prime Minister Sharif of Pakistan, and also, I have to say, my favorite field marshal from Pakistan, who's not here, but the Prime Minister is here, and you're going to give his regards. Where are you? There you go. Thank you very much.
However, history shows that the hopes of any reliable and mutually beneficial relationship between the United States and Pakistan always ends in disappointment. Beginning with Pakistan's first Prime Minister, Liaquat Ali Khan, right from the 1950s, Islamabad courted Washington by asserting that it could serve as a bulwark against communism in South Asia. Keen on containing Soviet expansion, the then US President Dwight Eisenhower went along. India at that time was more aligned with the USSR under both Nehru and Indira Gandhi. Pakistan wanted to draw America into South Asia primarily to balance off Indian power because of the Kashmir dispute. As a result, India has long been wary of any American role in Pakistan, much less any kind of military alliance. The 1971 East Pakistan crisis, which led to the creation of modern-day Bangladesh, dramatically reinforced India's misgivings. The then US President Richard Nixon tilted towards Pakistan and against India. He even sent a bunch of ships from the US 7th Fleet out into the Bay of Bengal to intimidate New Delhi and demonstrate support for Islamabad. But Pakistan lost that war, and Bangladesh was created, and the US-Pakistan relationship withered. In the wake of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in the late 1970s, the then US President Ronald Reagan turned to Pakistan again. The then Pakistani military dictator Zia-ul-Haq partnered with Reagan, and they were able to chase away the Soviets using the newly formed Mujahideen, or the Taliban, who later went on to become a big problem for America. But the Soviets got chased out. 20 years later, 9/11 happened, and the perpetrator behind the worst terrorist attack on American soil, Osama bin Laden, was traced back to the mountains of Afghanistan. The then American President George W. Bush took the help of another Pakistani general, Pervez Musharraf, and made Pakistan a major non-NATO ally in the war on terror. That ended with the Americans discovering their enemy number one. The man who they had launched a global hunt for was found in a military garrison town in Pakistan, not far from their capital, Islamabad. Pakistan then was relegated to the doghouse for much of Trump's first term and through much of Biden's term as well. But now that has changed in Trump 2.0. Although Trump officials insist that this has nothing to do with India. This growing bonhomie between Islamabad and Washington has naturally irked India. It has also appended what was a carefully crafted strategic partnership between Delhi and Washington over the last 25 years. Trump is now throwing that strategic logic and the strategic partnership out the window. From India's standpoint, the first distressing move came right after Operation Sindoor, when Trump announced to the world that the hostilities between India and Pakistan had ended even before any Indian official could make an official statement. Trump then went on to claim that he was the one who had mediated between India and Pakistan, a claim that he has gone on to repeat more than 50 times in the last 6 months, but one that India stoutly denies.
India, Pakistan were going at it, two nuclear powers, and serious nuclear. 7 planes shot down. They were ready to go, and I called them up. I said, you go to war, and we're not doing a trade deal. And they said, well, what does one thing have to do with the other? I said, it has a lot. You're nuclear powers, and if you do it, we're not doing a trade deal. And 24 hours later, they called me, we have decided not to do it. We stopped the war. We stopped the potential disaster, a nuclear disaster, because of trade.
Then in June, Trump invited Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir to the White House and hosted him for an official lunch. There was a testy phone call with Prime Minister Modi, who refused to fall for Trump's trap. Then in July and August, India was slapped with 2 sets of punitive tariffs of 25% each. India is the only country in the world, along with Brazil, which is paying a 50% tariff for exports into America. It is yet to clinch a trade deal with America, while Pakistan has been granted a rather benign 19% tariff. Trump has responded favorably to Pakistani gestures, including partnering with a family-backed cryptocurrency enterprise, nominating the US president for the Nobel Peace Prize, and offering to allow American firms to excavate rare earths from Pakistan. Pakistan has also offered a remote fishing village in the Arabian Sea to the Americans to develop so that they can ship rare earths extracted from Pakistan directly to America. All of these developments seem to reflect that Trump is currently enamored by Pakistan. But Pakistan is highly unlikely to leave China, which is its all-weather friend, nor is it likely to stop its support for cross-border terrorism, something which has come to bite it, as was seen in the recent flare-up between Afghanistan and Pakistan, something that Qatar and Turkey had to mediate and bring peace to. Trump has also offered to mediate between Afghanistan and Pakistan, but the reality is that Pakistan is squeezed by a much bigger power in the region, in India. And more importantly, Pakistan's economy is a tenth of the size of India and is still very much in the doldrums. Until this fundamental economic fact changes, the geostrategic calculus will also not change in any fundamental way. So Trump's love affair with Munir might just be a passing phase. All right, so this newfound bromance between US President Donald Trump and the Pakistani military general Field Marshal Asim Munir, how long will this last, and what is really the strategic logic behind it? I want to go across to someone who's followed Pakistan and Pakistan affairs for his entire career. Mr. Tilak Devasher is now joining us, strategic affairs expert. So Trump referring to Field Marshal Munir as his most favorite field marshal, etc. Obviously, there's a lot of business interests happening here, whether it's on the cryptocurrency deal, rare earths, etc. But what are the strategic limitations for this newfound bonhomie between America and Pakistan?
I see it all boils down to that lunch, the famous lunch in June. Now, we don't know exactly what has happened. We can only surmise. And the consensus seems to be that Munir has promised President Trump something extraordinary. Quite possibly it relates to Afghanistan. Bagram Air Base, for example, which Donald Trump seems to have set his heart on, that he wants it back. Or it could be to deal with Iran. So Munir would have promised something which he was now finding it difficult to deliver, because neither on Bagram nor on Iran is Pakistan in a position to deliver. After all, can they deliver Bagram to the Americans? They haven't been able to get the Taliban to deal with their own problem, which is the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. And where are they going to go and get shopping for Bagram for the US? So, and the reason for this extraordinary promise is Munir's own ambitions. He is desperate to get an extension. His 3-year tenure finishes next month, in about a month's time. And he wants an extension, could be either 2 years, could be a full new extension appointment for another 5 years. So all this is being done, maneuvering is being done. You see, every time President Trump says, my good friend Munir, so he looks back and tells the politician, Dekha, I am Trump's good buddy. So you better get me an extension.
But tell me on the Bagram case, obviously Trump has been publicly speaking about it. He wants America to control it. There's no way the Taliban will give him Bagram. Neither would the Chinese be particularly, coy about giving Bagram away to the Americans. So why then would the Pakistanis?
Because they think that they will get Trump and the US on their side. They know that the Chinese are losing interest because of the inability of Pakistan to keep their side of the bargain as far as CPEC and all those Chinese investments are concerned.
Yeah.
They're not able to provide security to Chinese projects and Chinese personnel. So there's a little bit of cooling off from the Chinese side. And Pakistan knows that. So Pakistan, has sensed which way the wind is blowing. So this could be a good time to hedge bets. And they feel that Trump is so open about being susceptible to being, whether it's cryptocurrency or whether it is his family's interests, his with Witkoff's son and his own thing. So, the Pakistanis have gauged that. And then if they promises something, the Nobel Peace Prize, that it's no water off their back, they just nominated him. And even though it's such a fraud, but, if the man likes it, so Pakis are best in this kind of a thing. I mean, look at the kind of speeches that Shehbaz Sharif has been making.
Yeah.
It'll make you, sorry to use the word, puke. How can a leader of a 240 million country with nuclear weapons say the kind of things that Shehbaz Sharif said? And, you saw the Italian Prime Minister standing behind, the horror on her face. That, and everybody. I don't know how Pakistanis are taking to this man. It was so obsequious. It was so blatantly bootlicking. So Trump just laps it up. He loves it.
So the one final word, Mr. Devshir, the other thing that's happened, and I guess this will have greater ramifications for Pakistan, is this war that's going on between Taliban and Pakistan. This sort of appends everything that we've known in that region for the last 20, 30 years. It was always thought that the Taliban will do Pakistan's calling or will be at Pakistan's beck and call, but that has completely changed. How does Munir sort of navigate this? Because this really challenges the Pakistan army and its authority all along the Durand line, really.
That's a surprising thing, that the people who should know the Afghans best are Pakistan. Because, they've looked after them for 20 years, they know them, they speak the same language, same culture. And yet they thought that they could take the Taliban for granted, that Taliban would do their beck and call. You see, Taliban are first and foremost Afghan nationalists. They're not going to listen to anybody, whether it is Pakistan, whether it's the US, whether it's China, whether it's even India. They're going to do what is best for Afghanistan. Pakistan forgot that. Typically Punjabi hubris that we've looked after these guys for 20 years. Now we'll tell them recognize the Durand line. And they will recognize the Durand line. No way. That's where they've taken a big tumble. And that's why the disappointment. And that's why the kind of clashes they've been having on the border. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is a Pakistani organization. Yes, they have sanctuary on the other side. But does that mean that they go and attack Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Today, in fact, I was just reading that the 3-day talks have collapsed. And one of the things that Pakistan said during the talks, apparently, is that we cannot prevent a third country from using our territory to carry out drone strikes on you. Mm-hmm. And you have to allow us to do that. The Taliban said, what the hell are you talking about? How are you given bases to a third country and now you're telling us they will come and attack us and you can't prevent it? So Pakistan is getting into all kinds of contortions simply because they do not have the capability or the capacity, military capability and capacity, to go after the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. They did earlier in 2014 during Zarb-e-Azb, but now they don't have it because Munir is so interested in getting his extension and playing politics and making sure that Imran Khan stays in jail and doesn't come out, that he is militarily, the Pakistan army, I think, is militarily very weak.
All right.
Because they're so much into politics, they are not able to fight either Afghanistan or the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan.
All right, Mr. Tilak Devashir, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on CNN News 18 with your thoughts and perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Zakir. Thank you.